Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Rod Shop. Today, I'm answering your questions. So stick around. Okay, let's see. About a month ago, real time, I was answering some questions on video that were maybe would take too much effort, honestly, to answer with a keyboard or on my phone. And you guys responded well to it. So we're going to do that again because you guys are great with your questions. And a lot of times they require more detail than a sentence to get the full answer to the question. And part of the problem I have from 37 ish years in construction is sometimes my hands and I don't get along very well, especially since I went fishing yesterday and fished hard for 5 hours. Um, yeah, we're having a bit of a discussion this morning about whether my hands are going to work properly or not. 37 years in construction, uh, from T1 to T6 between my shoulder blades, I have 5 herniated discs, and in the lower C section, I have some calcium deposits. So between those two things and overdoing it yesterday, my neuropathy is kicking pretty hard this morning, which means I really can't feel these two fingers all the way down to my funny bone, which is not funny at the moment, on both hands. Um, I went out yesterday on the Kissimmee chain for the first time in a while, um, and the plan I had completely failed. It took me 2.5 hours to figure out it wasn't going to work, and then I stumbled on something that did work. And so for the next 2.5 hours, I threw top water and caught one needlefish, one bluegill, two speck, and 9 bass for a 5 fish bag of about 12 pounds. So it was fun. But anyway, when I do stuff like that, the next day I pay for it. Um, so instead of doing this and arguing, I'm going to talk to you guys because my mouth still works, obviously. Can't shut it up sometimes. So anyway, I'm going to keep doing this. I like this. I feel like I am more connected with you guys when I'm talking to you, through the camera lens than I am when I'm typing. And maybe that's just me. I prefer what is similar to a personal conversation um, than just typing. I know the younger generation, it's text and emails, and that's the only way they communicate, and that's fine for them. That doesn't work for me. At least I prefer something different. And speaking of that, I do appreciate you channel members who I owe you guys a Zoom session. So I'm looking at a Sunday afternoon Eastern time, uh, probably in the 5 o'clock range, and possibly a Thursday evening 7-ish time, also Eastern, for a Zoom get together where you guys can ask me any questions. If you have, if you can set your computer up or your Zoom ability in your rod building space, then we can answer specific stuff. But anyway, I'm going to do that. I want to get better at doing that. I do appreciate the support from you guys. And as always, if you guys are getting something from these videos, click the subscribe button. I can't tell you how encouraging it is for us as a group to be very close to 4,000 subscribers now, which I didn't think ever would happen. I started doing this just for fun, trying to pass on some knowledge that I had to other people. And even though it does make a little bit of money, that being the Rod Shop channel, it's not enough to support my habit, honestly. And I'm kind of hoping it would get there eventually. But anyway, let's answer some questions. Okay. All right. So, sorry. Oh, that was just a compliment. Thank you very much. He's a brand new channel member. James asked about refreshing his memory. What size thread goes down for the under wrap and what goes for the over wrap? Well, it doesn't matter if you're going to epoxy in between. I think it's a personal preference. I use D most of the time, again, because of the loss of this dexterity in my hands. And A, I struggle with, just be honest with you. I do have A in the Rod Shop, and I use it very sparingly, but I do use it. But if you will put your underwrap down, regardless of the size of thread, do a very thin coat of epoxy, let that cure, it doesn't matter. If you are going to try and do thread on thread, then yes, I would go with the A for the underwrap and then D over top. And the only reason for that is if you go the other way with D on the bottom and A on top, the A will fall down in between the D threads. And if you do D on D, it's very similar. Sometimes if you don't get a very tightly packed underwrap, then your D will get in the grooves of the under when you're doing the over, and it'll be very tough to burnish it smooth. Anyway, if you put a thin coat of epoxy in between, it doesn't matter. So, next one. We'll come back to Harry's question. Guide tubing. All right, so I had a question about what we use to hold down guides. Specifically, we will use surgical tubing that we just take a razor blade and slice it into little rubber bands. Now we have a couple different sizes of this, depending on where we're going to position the guide on the blank. I like, for the really narrow parts, down towards the tip, I'm going to use these guide bands that I pick up from Mudhole, from CRB. They are very easy to use. And then, old school is 1/8 inch masking tape. And you will see us use a combination of three, because down here in the stripper guide area, in your transition guide where you start your running guides, your blank is obviously a larger diameter. And these typically work better. These will only stretch to a certain diameter before they're about impossible to get a guide under. And then they break very easily when you have them stretched too tight. So you will see us use tubing in the lower portion of the blank, the guide bands in the upper portion of the blank, and a lot of times you will see me just with a stripper guide just use tape. The reason that I want to use bands and not tape all the way down is twofold, really. One, we want to be able to reposition the guides as we do a static load test. And two, if you tape it, you can't really do that as easily. And then the second reason is when you go to start your wrap, you have a very tiny bit of the foot of the guide covered with a band or with surgical tubing, versus you have an 1/8 inch wide tape, which is as narrow a tape as you can get that's effective. It's just in the way. Except again, when you're on a stripper guide or transition guide, and your foot of your guide is 3/4 of an inch long, 1/8 is fine. You get enough of the guide started with a wrap that when you remove the tape, the guide stays in place. So that's a question about bands. And then the last one I'm going to answer today was from Harry. Harry wasn't really a question so much, it was a comment about Nathan, and Nathan should be doing videos from his rod shop. Well, there's a little more information required for that. Technically, this is my rod shop, but Nathan is in here as much as I am. Like I said, I've owned a construction company I've been in construction 37 years. I've owned a construction company for 27 years. And I have two young guns in their late 20s, early 30s who are running that. I started stepping away from that a couple years ago. But they are doing day-to-day operations. The same thing is going to happen in here. Because of this, I can't build rods, high number of production rods anymore. I am going to continue to build, mostly for you guys. I'm going to build what I want to build, and I'm going to show you what I'm building. But the day-to-day operations of FDX Custom Rods is shifting to Nathan. Nathan is the heir apparent to FDX Customs. I'm always going to be involved. Technically, Nathan is as good a rod builder as I am right now, and he is younger than I was when I started building rods. And he's coming along on the design. I'm going to keep helping him, and honestly, that's the part I like, and it doesn't require the dexterity that I no longer have. So I'm going to be involved in that, and the next video I'm getting ready to shoot is about marbling under an exposed reel seat, and this is the kind of stuff that I like doing. The difficult stuff from an engineering design standpoint. So anyway, that's your questions for this week. Guys, keep them coming. I love them down in the comments. You can always email me. And for you channel members, let me know which one of those scenarios, either Sunday afternoon or Thursday evening, would be better for you. I'd rather run one with a bunch of you guys. Or if I have to, I'll run two. And if you guys aren't a channel member, there's a button down there from the laptop or the phone to join. I don't know how it shows up on YouTube TV. I never actually watch YouTube on TV. But go to your computer or go to your phone and log into your YouTube channel and log into your YouTube account, and you will see join. I'm pretty sure it just says join. It's $5 a month, and you pretty much get unlimited access to me. We'll send you a link to the WhatsApp chat where we're always discussing builds and showing our work. But for those who are members, I appreciate it. For those who aren't members, why not? Anyway, joking. That's it for today and the questions. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.